So I use a spray bottle right here to spray the soils. Okay, I'm not going to spray them right now because this is a wetland soil. If I have upland soils or terrestrial soils, I want them to have the same moisture as my wetland soils. When you spray an upland soil or terrestrial soil, it turns a little bit darker color, and so we want that to be consistent when we're looking at all different types of soils in your site. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to understand the texture of a soil. So here's the A horizon, or the top soil, and the first thing we're going to do is remove all of the roots, all these small fine roots. If I leave these in, it's going to exaggerate the length of the ribbon I'm going to make. And this test is called a field test or ribbon method test for texture. Alright, I have two samples now. Here's from the wetland hole that we just dug. Notice how it's very, very wet. This is a little bit too wet to actually use the ribbon method for. So I'm going to let it dry out over here. And actually I would want to put this in the sun for about an hour and then conduct the ribbon method. So I've gotten a little bit drier soil that's about the same consistency, and I made a golf ball. It's about the size of a golf ball, right? That's about how much you want. So you take your golf ball and knead it like dough. Now I'm going to roll it out into a worm. Okay, and that almost looks a little dry. I'm going to knead it a little bit more and put a tiny little bit of water in it, because we don't want it to have those cracks. Okay, so we're going to roll it into a worm. Press the worm using my thumb over my forefinger consistently into a ribbon. I'm going to hold my hand out to catch it when it breaks. Okay, and I'm going to do this 3 times and get an average. I'm going to measure how long it is. It's approximately 3.5 centimeters. Alright. And I'm going to press it with my thumb over my forefinger until it breaks. And it's going to be a consistent thickness. That's a root. Okay? So it would have broken here, but I didn't take this long root out. So that's a great example of why we need to remove the roots. So let's measure this at about the midway point. So that's almost 4 centimeters. Alright, I'm going to take a little tiny piece of soil, even smaller than this. Let's get rid of half of this. And I'm going to put a bunch of water in here. And I'm going to move it around and feel how gritty it is. This is the grit test. It feels really gritty. So that means we have a lot of sand, and even coarse sand in this sample right here. Alright, and so we measured an average of 1 to 2 inches of a ribbon, and it feels very gritty. So we come here on the flowchart and we get sandy clay loam. So our A horizon is a sandy clay loam. So by the ribbon method, or on this diagram it calls it texture, soil texture by feel, I was able to make a ball, barely able to make a ball out of the B horizon soil, right? And when I try to make a ribbon out of it, it just falls apart. So if we follow the flowchart, we get a yes for making a ball, but a no for making a ribbon, so we have a loamy sand in our B horizon.